Make room for Javi.
Welcome to my Project a Day video, where I explain a project or tell a story each day for a year, and I attempt to complete my shop. This is day 54 of 365, and today's story is about my buddy Bill. I mentioned my buddy Bill F. in a prior story about regrets. Well, here's the more detailed story involving Bill. I met Bill in kindergarten in 1970. I can't say much about him during those years because, frankly, I only remember one somewhat traumatic event. Not for me, but for some of the others in the class. It was St. Patrick's Day 1971 of the same school year. I know this because we were all in kindergarten art class. And I know what you're saying. Back then, other than learning our numbers and ABCs, kindergarten is all art class. We were given green construction paper and scissors and were told to make shamrocks. That part went fairly badly, as you can imagine, that the majority of the 5-year-olds possessed little acuity for art or dexterity with those god-awful rounded children's scissors. However, it was when the shamrocks were all pinned on us that things started to go from bad to worse. Perhaps it was that I liked a girl, perhaps it was that I strived to be the center of attention even back then, or perhaps I'd lost my mind. For some reasons I cannot begin to fathom, I took the pin out and started poking my friends because I must have thought it was funny. The first couple were on the shoulder or chest, but then I proceeded to hide under the table as people were chasing me, and I poked anyone who came near me in the forehead. This included my buddy Bill, a couple others, the teacher, Mrs. Barton, and yes, even the principal, Sister Honesta, who promptly disarmed me, dragged me to the office, and called my mom. Everything was a blur after that. And I must state a public apology to all of you, and in addition, if you were one of my teachers throughout my life. On a side note, I would love to get together to chat with you and thank you for all you've done for me as well as the rest of your students in your lifetime. To all my prior teachers. I'm on YouTube and Facebook. Please find me. I'd love to hear from you. Now, the next time I remember Bill was much later. After kindergarten, we had spent the years of 1st through 8th grade in opposite classrooms, as luck would have it, and we really got to know each other only through gym class, the cafeteria, Boy Scouts, or various field trips. Fast forward to high school. As luck would have it, we became fast friends, and later on he was looking for a job in our youth. I asked my dad, and Bill and I became work buddies. We would carpool to construction projects and work together on quite a few builds. And when I say work together, I must admit, I did an awful lot in those days to avoid work. I was still an immature, spoiled little snot who did whatever he felt like, including playing hooky from work. Luckily, I'd done just enough to prove to my dad that I was responsible to run a construction crew. But once there, I only took the fun work and delegated everything else to the crew. At this particular time, we were finishing up some details on a 7-acre project on a bunch of gated townhomes in Naranja Lakes. This was prior to Hurricane Andrew, and later I found out it was one of the few structures which passed through the hurricane's eye and was left unscathed. Just saying. Bill and I worked very little, and of the work we did, Bill performed 80 to 90% of it. Possibly more. But I like to think he still had it good. Something deep inside me said that Bill may have wanted me to pull my weight a bit more, but he never said anything, and we often joked about how easy we both had it. Me more than him, though. My dad had numerous jobs at the time and rarely would swing out to check up on us. If he had, I was likely out getting materials or something like that. Bill and I would often hit Denny's in the morning and show up a bit late to work. Oftentimes, one of us would sack out part of the day in the model home, still not open to the public, and the other was the lookout. I remember one day Bill and I were goofing off, throwing hammers like axes at plywood leaning on a concrete fence wall. The object was to get the claw stuck in the spray-painted target. We threw these hammers close to 40 or 50 feet away. One of Bill's throws hit squarely on the steel handle just so that it came back to us at incredible speed and hit his foot. I don't believe it was broken, but he took it lightly for the next couple weeks. Now, my memory is quite sketchy about the end of our time together. He may or may not have been angry with me about something I said, but honestly, I don't remember. I was too self-absorbed in my own little world to care about what other people thought about me, beyond whether they liked me or not. To Bill, I say, Bill, if you're out there and I unknowingly did anything wrong or stupid to cause a rift between us, I deeply apologize. I would love to hear from you and catch up. Those were some great times. I remember nothing but the good times of that friendship and know he was a true blue friend to appreciate and have for life. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment. I enjoy reading them, particularly when they're pleasant. Please subscribe, and as always, have a great day.
Make room for Javi.